What is up, everybody? As you saw from some of my posts on Instagram, currently doing a little bit of a road trip. Made a little bit of a pit stop here at Iron Valley, Harley Davidson. Taking a ride up from Philly, obviously, where you guys are used to seeing me. Southeast corner of the state, all the way up to the northwest corner of the state of PA. So currently took a little pit stop at this Harley dealer. Doing another little stop at one of my friend's house in Hershey. So I figured this would be a good time to hop off the bike, film a little video, talk a little bit how the Sportster's handling on this road trip we have going on. So here's the Sporty right here. You can see the setup. Got the bag strapped to the sissy boy on the back. Nice and tight, held up nice on the highway. But other than that, put down 100 miles so far from Philly to Hershey. That was highway. Obviously we had some city roads getting out of the city. Did about 100 miles on the PA Turnpike, and now we're getting a little bit of back roads as we get into Hershey. So I figured that'd be a good time to hop on the bike as we head into Hershey. Talk a little bit about how the bike is handling and what kind of is going on with a little bit of a long distance on the Sportster. A lot of people talk about, obviously it's not the best bike for these long road trips, but I'll give you guys a little insight into how the engine's been performing, how the bike's been handling, all that good stuff. So roll the intro, we'll catch you back on the bike. Alright, so we're back on the bike now, and like I said, I want to talk a little bit about the Sportsters. Can they do long distance, and how has my Iron 1200 been handling on this first part of this road trip that I'm getting into here from Philly up into the northwest corner of PA. So the total trip itself is going to be about 400 miles, I think, one way. Of course, eventually I'll be coming back, so 800 round trip. I'm going to do a lot of riding while I'm there as well. But so far, honestly, the bike has been handling pretty good on that first stretch of 100 miles out on the highway. I know a lot of people say, the Sportster's just for around town, this or that, the engine can't keep up. And now, obviously, if you're doing long distance like that, if you have a bigger, heavier cruiser, bigger, heavy touring bike, bigger displacement, more horsepower, more torque, some of those situations that you get in are going to leave you a little bit more comfortable. The bike's just going to carry you right through some of those, situations where you're passing or whatever it might be. But as far as I'm concerned, I felt pretty comfortable on the bike the whole time, the whole way through. So I was holding pretty steady at about 70, 75 the whole way. Obviously had to pass a couple big trucks and stuff like that, up to 80, 85, 90. But for the most part, out on the turnpike, I was holding pretty steady at 70, 75, and the bike was feeling a pretty comfortable, 3,200 RPMs, 3,500 RPMs here and there. So as far as the engine and the performance, I felt pretty good with that. Obviously, bigger displacement's going to be a little bit more comfortable, carry you through some stuff a little bit easier. But honestly, it did not feel like the engine was working too hard up around some of those higher speeds and passing speeds. Also, one thing to consider, obviously, was distance with the Sportster. 3.3 gallon tank, going to get you about 100, 110, 115 miles a tank. I usually don't push it past 100 miles a tank just to be safe. I usually fill up around 70, 80 miles just to be safe. So as far as some of the other aspects of doing distance on the Sportster, obviously I was taking a lot of wind, but I'm geared up with the jacket, obviously, geared up with the full face helmet. I've got the Memphis Shades Cafe fairing right here. That deflects a lot of wind as opposed to having nothing, which was pretty comfortable. So that made a big difference. But again, obviously a big touring bike, you're going to have a big fairing. You probably have to be sending some wind up over your head and be a little bit more comfortable. Man, these roads are awesome out here. So much different than being in the city. Love it. Now, as far as the Sportsters go, again, doing some of that long distance, the 883, I'm not exactly sure how that engine would perform. I mean, I know guys obviously do it. I think it might be working a little bit harder, obviously, than the 1200. If you're out there on an 883 doing some travel, let me know how the engine performs out on the highway, different stuff like that. Drop a comment down below. Any of you guys out there on 883s, let me know what you think about the engine on some of those longer distance rides. Obviously the Sportster being a 5-speed, you know, you start to rev out a little bit at some of those higher speeds, but honestly, the engine was pretty decent, felt pretty good the whole way. Again, another factor that I was thinking about was the wind, but fairing's been blocking a lot of wind. Full face helmet helps a lot with that. Now that we're on some of these back roads, we're going to see how we do with a little bit more of a steady speed. Obviously not as fast as the highway, but overall I would say the Sportster, I mean, if you want to do it, go for it. You can absolutely take a Sportster distance, whether it's the 1200 or the 883. Again, I think if you think about what some people do on all kinds of different bikes, whether it's cafe racer or a smaller displacement type bike, smaller type cruiser, it's all just kind of about, you know, if you want to do it, how comfortable you're going to be. Obviously, Sportster a little more stripped down, suspension's not the best. I was definitely hitting some bumps out there on the highway that a little better suspension probably would have ate up, been a little bit more comfortable. But feels decent with the bag on the back. I probably got about 20, 25, 30 pounds of gear or clothes packed up for about a week. That'll be gone. But it's hauling that perfectly fine as well, obviously. But again, when you think about, I think you can do distance really on any bike if you want to. You just have to understand what you're getting yourself into. You got to know what to expect, and you know, kind of what you have planned. Yeah, I think you can go distance really on any bike. You just got to have level expectations and kind of understand what you're getting yourself into. What's up, cows? So another thing about the Sportsters being a little bit of a smaller bike, you say, you know, you get cramped up, you know, your legs, your hips, your knees. I'm actually a shorter guy, so I mean, I'm only like 5'6". So with these mid controls, it's actually not bothering me too much. Even with mid controls being at 5'6", I still have a little bit, I'm not fully at 90 with my knee. I don't feel cramped up. Now obviously if you're bigger, taller, you might want some forward controls, something along those lines, get a little bit more reach, a little bit more stretch. So we're currently on 322 heading towards Hershey, PA. Man, these roads are beautiful out here. You got some country, some farms. Hershey's a cool town. Got some friends there. That's who I'm going to be stopping, making a pit stop to see. The rest of the trip I'll be heading towards State College, PA, meeting my parents up there. My dad's on an 09 Street Glide. He's going to be riding that out, and then we're going to be heading the rest of the way up to northwestern PA. So I think that's almost going to wrap it up for covering the Sportster and distance. Again, just a quick recap. Engine performing, everything that like I expected to. I feel decent at 5'6" on this bike. Modifications like the fairing, stuff like gear, stuff like full face helmet is definitely going to help you out. If you have a Sportster, you want to take it traveling, take it long distance, 100% I would not deter you from that. Go for it. Like I said, you just got to make sure you have those expectations of, you know, you're going to have to stop a little bit. You only got 3.3 gallons of gas. You might get a little uncomfortable. Stop after an hour. Stop every 60 miles every hour or so. So again, let me know what bikes you guys are on and how you tour with them or how you travel with them. You guys out there with those 883s, let me know how that engine performs, distance on the highway, stuff like that. I know the 1200, like I said, perfectly fine. Don't let anybody tell you you can't travel on a Sportster. So I'm getting closer to that destination in Hershey. Hope you guys like seeing me outside of Philly. We're gonna get some more videos dropping along the way on this road trip, obviously. Outside of Philly, different stuff we come across in State College, northwest corner of PA, all that good stuff. We'll be dropping some videos, some more posts on Instagram. Make sure you follow me over there at the MotoJohn. Hit us with a subscribe on YouTube as well. Like the video. And again, drop us a comment down there. So that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see you on the next one. It's the MotoJohn. We'll see you all on down the road. Peace.